Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at a really fun way to improve your English,
Oh, yeah?
and that is by watching movies and TV shows. We've got some really interesting research
Yes.
that suggests that watching movies and TV shows can actually be a super effective way to learn a new language.
Totally.
So we'll dig into all that today. So one of the first things that the podcast English Dose suggests
Yeah.
is starting with content that matches your current English level.
Right.
So, you don't want to jump into
Shakespeare.
like
Yeah.
super complex dialogue heavy content.
Yeah, totally.
If you're just starting out.
Right.
So they suggest things like animated films for beginners,
Oh, yeah.
or even documentaries for more advanced learners.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a great idea. I think it's really important to find content that is engaging and enjoyable for the learner.
Yeah.
Because if you're not enjoying what you're watching, you're not going to be motivated to keep learning. And I think that's really key, is to make the learning process feel less like work and more like fun.
Right. And that makes sense. If you're really engaged
Yeah.
and enjoying what you're watching, you're going to be more likely to pick up on the language.
Exactly.
And they also talk about subtitles, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Subtitles are a great tool.
They can be.
Yeah.
How would you use subtitles?
Well, I think subtitles can be used as a stepping stone, so you can start by watching with subtitles in your native language,
Okay.
just to get a feel for the plot and the characters. And then as your English improves, you can switch to English subtitles.
Uh-huh.
And that will help you connect the spoken words with their written form.
Right.
And then eventually the goal is to be able to watch without subtitles at all.
Yeah, I actually did this when I was learning Spanish.
Oh, cool.
I had to have the subtitles on at first, but
Yeah.
after a while I started realizing, oh, I don't even need to read the subtitles anymore.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool method.
And it's a great way.
One other thing they touched on was the idea of focusing on small sections
Yeah.
of content rather than trying to understand everything at once.
Oh, absolutely.
So like really dissecting scenes.
Yes.
Or even just individual lines.
I think that's such a valuable technique because it allows you to really slow down
Uh-huh.
and pay attention to the details of the language, the pronunciation, the intonation, the nuances of how words are used in context. And by breaking down the language into smaller chunks, it becomes much more manageable and you can really start to internalize it.
Right. And I love this idea of
Mm-hmm.
even mimicking lines to practice pronunciation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's such a
Love doing that.
it's such a fun way to
Yeah.
really embody the character.
It's like you're becoming an actor. You're
Yeah.
stepping into their shoes
Yeah.
and experiencing the world through their eyes. And it's a great way to just loosen up and have fun with the language.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Mm-hmm.
keeping a notebook handy to jot down new words and phrases.
Yes, vocabulary building is essential.
Yeah.
And I think it's really helpful to have a dedicated notebook or even just a note on your phone
Yeah.
where you can keep track of all the new words and phrases that you come across.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
And then you can review them later
Uh-huh.
and try to use them in your own conversations or writing.
Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
I love this method for learning.
Me too.
So I encourage everyone to try it out. Pick your favorite movie or TV show and see what you learn.
What if we told you that the key to mastering a language isn't just about hitting the books, but also about immersing yourself in the stories, the characters, and the worlds that capture your imagination?
That's a great question. All right. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya!